Howdy y'all, Saega here and welcome to another educational adventure. Today, we're not going to talk about one primal, oh no, we're going to talk about the original three from A Realm Reborn. It's time to dive into Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda. Before we get started, why not like this video and subscribe? These lore videos are really fun to make and I would love to share more. If I missed anything, drop a line in the comments too. Also, be warned there will be spoilers for A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Shadowbringers, and Endwalker. Now that that's out of the way, on to the lore. Now where did I put those books? There they are. Let's start with the Lord of the Inferno, Ifrit. He is the deity of the Amalja. Ifrit is, as his title implies, a fiery god filled with the anger and fervor of his followers. According to the Amalja, in the beginning, there was only Ifrit. The world at the time was filled with beasts missing any sort of reasoning or intelligence, battling without end, mindlessly fighting for survival. Ifrit saw these beasts, but focused in on one race in particular. This was a race of great lizards whose passion and ferocity went so far above all other beasts that Ifrit bestowed upon them a flickering portion of his own flame. This flame, sacred to the great lizards, burned in their souls and turned any frailty and weakness into ash. It is said that from these ashes were the first Amalja warriors born. The passing of this flame and transformation of the Amalja from feral beast to noble warrior happened at the site known as Zener Ak. This is the location of the Bowl of Embers, said to be Ifrit's domain. The Amalja prayed to Ifrit to fight any foe who threatens their sacred lands, including the city of Ul'dah. We Warriors of Light first meet Ifrit in A Realm Reborn. Taking care of this primal menace is our first big mission from the Scions of the Seventh Dawn's leader, Minfilia. We are tasked with working alongside the Brass Blades to find out more about the Amalja kidnapping people for the Lord of the Inferno. After being double-crossed by a corrupted blade, we are taken to the Bowl of Embers and witness the primal summoning. When Ifrit is summoned, we learn of our power of the Echo, as we, the Warriors of Light, are not tempered. This gives us the chance to defeat Ifrit in battle. Side note, this is probably one of the coolest arenas for any early primal, or maybe even any primal ever. Upon defeating Ifrit here, we learn that those tempered cannot be untempered, and we progress in our adventures. We encounter Ifrit 2 more times in A Realm Reborn with a hard and extreme version. We also interact with him in the Howling Eye when the ultimate weapon absorbs his essence. Next up is the Lord of Craig's Titan. He is the deity of the Kobolds. Titan, a god of earth, is actually considered compassionate and gentle, almost like a father figure, but causes the earth to shake and tremble when angered. The Kobolds believe that in the beginning, there was nothing but a cold, unforgiving land. Titan saw this and decided it needed custodians to make it hospitable. He formed the ground beneath him and breathed life into the clay and soil. This was the creation of the Kobolds. Unfortunately, the Kobolds were newborn creatures that could not live alongside the ravaging beasts of the land. Seeing this frailty, Titan sent magma to flow through the holy mount of Ogamoro, leaving behind plentiful veins of ore. Titan taught the Kobolds how to mine and the secrets of smelting and blacksmithing. With new weapons and armor, the other beasts fled, allowing the Kobolds to live in peace. Satisfied with this outcome, Titan decided to return to his slumber in the mountain's crater, the Navel. Before leaving, he made a promise to the Kobolds. When his children needed him most, the smoky breath of the Ogamoro mountain would herald his return. Us Warriors of Light first meet Titan in A Realm Reborn. He is awakened not too long after we explore Hawk Manor. Upon returning to Limsalominsa, we are informed by the Admiral Melve Blufisfin, I hope I pronounced that right.
I am Melve Blufisfin, Admiral of Limsalominsa.
That she and the city-state actually broke their treaty with the Kobolds in their efforts of rebuilding after the calamity. This act is what inspired the Kobolds to summon Titan. After some errand running, you reach the Navel, where Titan scolds the Warrior of Light for ignoring the cries of his children, and after learning that we had already defeated Ifrit, went into a fit of rage. We engage in battle, and in the end, defeat Titan. After this, we continue on our adventures and meet Titan again in the Howling Eye, where he too is absorbed by the ultimate weapon. We encounter Titan 2 more times in A Realm Reborn, also with a hard and extreme fight. There is a special instance of the summoning of Titan that is truly heartbreaking. In Heavensward, we discover a young child kobold named Gabu. He was trying to find help to save his parents who were taken by the Patriarch. Upon entering the navel, you learn the grim fate. His parents were sacrificed for the summoning of Titan. Falling into a deep despair, he calls out to his parents, and the intense flood of emotion summons Titan with the crystals that were gathered. This version of Titan is not like the previous father-like figures. Instead, he lashes out at everyone while Gabu calls out to his parents. After the experience, Gabu goes into a catatonic state, where he is tempered, but eventually cured in Shadowbringers. Here's another interesting fact. Titan was supposed to be introduced in 1.0, but due to the 2011 earthquake in Japan, he was removed and instead introduced in 2.0. Square Enix felt it would be disrespectful and in bad taste if they released it. They had even already created a cutscene for the introduction of the primal. Now we come to the Lady of the Vortex, Garuda. Out of the 3 base primals, I feel Garuda has the most backstory. Garuda is the deity of the Ixal. Her wind-based nature is said to be able to rip and tear man limb from limb. According to the Ixali legends, the Ixal once lived on the floating continent of Ayatlan, and they served as the divine soldiers for Garuda. Unfortunately, there was an evil growing in the lands below, and there was fear it would spread to the flying creatures. Garuda is said to have sent her Ixal warriors down to the land to stop this evil and bade them stay as guardians. The Ixal dream of one day returning after completing their divine mission. They also believe that their inability to fly is due to them being cursed to stay on land until their mission is complete. There's another Ixali teaching about the Age of Myth. During this time, Garuda slew the Lord of Snakes, a force that threatened to bind all creatures to the surface, never allowing them to fly again. During the battle, Garuda was mortally wounded. To save herself and recover her strength, she drank the blood of the malevolent king. This caused her to go mad, causing her to have a bloodlust for all landlocked beings. Because of these teachings, the Ixal are afraid of Garuda as they are no longer able to fly, making them landlocked. In reality, the Ixal began in the 3rd Astral Era during the Allagan Empire. The Allagan engineers created a race of creatures called the Ixalian for routine maintenance and basic tasks in Azazla. They were part of the Garuda Airborne Division. Nearing the end of the Empire, when Emperor Zandi began his work with the Crystal Tower and reaching out to darker powers, uprisings began on the surface. A general in the Garuda Airborne Division sent down the Ixalian to stop the uprising across the Empire. Near the end of the Emperor's reign, Azazla was locked up and the Ixalian left on the surface. Over time, they evolved to their new surroundings, losing their wings. We warriors alike confront Garuda nearing the end of A Realm Reborn. With the help of Sid Garland, who recently got his memory back and fixed the airship the Enterprise, we fly to the Ixal, who have taken Amalja and Cobalt captive for their primal Garuda. After we engage her in battle and almost claim victory, the Ixal pray to her again and bring her back to full power. This time, instead of trying to engage in more bloodlust, which is her norm, she tries to enthrall us, but with the power of the Echo, this fails. During this time, Gaius von Belsar arrives at the Howling Eye with the ultimate weapon. If you remember from Ifrit and Titan, the primal's essence is eventually taken into the ultimate weapon. Belsar starts to taunt the primal, enraging Garuda further, which causes her to kill the Amalja and Cobalt hostages. This act summons Ifrit and Titan, vowing revenge and retribution for the death of their followers. This action is exactly what Belsar wanted, and then he absorbs the 3 primals, ending by eating Garuda head first. We do encounter Garuda 2 more times in A Realm Reborn story, also with a hard and extreme version. So is this the last time we see these 3 primals? Oh no. First off, these primals are part of one of the ultimate fights, the Weapons Refrain. This is an extreme difficulty fight where you experience the primals again when they are absorbed by the ultimate weapon. These 3 can also be found on the first as well. On the first, you encounter a series of fights in the Eden Raid series. The first you meet is in Eden's Gate, Titan. Here, he takes on the title the Heritor of Craigs. The primals summoned in this raid series comes from the Warrior of Light's memory. So what memory caused Titan to be a giant muscle man on wheels is beyond me. The other 2 primals are met in the same raid line. Garuda and Ifrit are a 2-for-1 fight in Eden's verse. They are known as the Heritors of Fury. This makes sense as both were fueled by rage and anger on the source. These 2 also take on a slightly different appearance. You first fight Garuda, then you fight Ifrit, and then you have to fight them together. The twist here is that at a certain point in the fight, they merge into a new primal being, Raktapaksa. Fun fact, Raktapaksa is actually the name of Garuda in Sanskrit. Rakta means red and Paksa means wing. As you can see with this transformation, they definitely take that name to heart. Finally, Ind and Walker, these 3 primals, as well as others you have encountered on your adventures, are summoned to help power the Ragnarok, shepherding our scions to the stars to stop the Song of Oblivion. So there you have it. That's the story of the original 3 primals in Final Fantasy XIV, starting with A Realm Reborn. What'd you think? Was there anything new that you learned or something that I missed? Don't forget to let me know in the comments. Until next time then, thanks for watching y'all. Bye-bye!